Lena always believed she saved her daughter from a dangerous life, but the truth was far darker than she ever admitted. For 20 years, she hid the one secret that could destroy her family. And when she finally said it out loud on Dr. Phil, the entire studio froze. The studio was silent in a way that didn't feel normal. Not the quiet curiosity you hear before a tough conversation. This was something heavier, like the air itself sensed danger. Lena sat on the left side of the stage, hands twisting in her lap, eyes darting between Dr. Phil and her daughter, Maya. The tension between them felt sharp enough to cut through steel. For 20 years, Lena had carried a story she always justified as protecting Maya. But now, under the bright lights, the truth leaked out before she could stop it. It happened in one breath. One slip, one whispered confession that carried more weight than anything said on that stage before. "I didn't rescue her," Lena said softly, voice cracking. "I took her." The audience sucked in air all at once. Maya turned toward her mother, so fast her chair creaked. Confusion flashed first, then disbelief, then something deeper, a hurt that reached all the way into childhood. Lena tried to explain herself immediately, words tumbling out in a frantic rush. "I did what any mother would do. I kept her safe. I kept her loved. Nobody else was going to do that." But the harder she defended herself, the more unsteady her voice became. Her hands trembled. Her eyes darted everywhere but at her daughter's face. Maya sat frozen, staring straight ahead, almost afraid to breathe. You could see her mind racing, replaying every birthday, every bedtime story, every moment Lena had claimed she was saving her. Dr. Phil didn't interrupt. Not yet. He leaned back slightly, studying Lena like he was peeling back layers of a story that didn't add up. Finally, he leaned forward and said, "Lena, I want you to repeat that. Slowly, so we all understand what you're saying." Lena swallowed hard. Tears pooled. And then she said it again, louder, clearer, irreversible. "I kidnapped my daughter." That single sentence hit the room like a shockwave. People whispered. Cameras zoomed in. One audience member covered her mouth. The stage lights suddenly felt too bright, the silence too sharp. Maya's entire body stiffened. "Mom, what are you talking about?" she asked, voice barely holding together. Lena turned toward her daughter, eyes wild with guilt and desperation. "I had to protect you. You don't know what was happening back then. You don't know what he was capable of." Began to form naturally. Who was he? Why had Lena kept this secret for over 20 years? And what kind of danger could justify stealing a child? Lena tried to continue, her voice cracking with every word. "I didn't have a choice. Your mother, your biological mother, begged me. I was the only one she trusted. You were in danger. I had to make a decision." But the more she talked, the deeper the confusion on Maya's face grew. If Lena had truly believed she was saving her, why hide the truth for so long? Why avoid legal channels? Why cut ties completely? The audience felt those questions too. So did Dr. Phil. He leaned closer, elbows on his knees, eyes locked onto Lena, as if trying to read every thought behind her trembling expression. "Lena," he said slowly, "this isn't just a misunderstanding. This is a 20-year lie. So I need you to tell me something important. What exactly were you running from?" The room held its breath, because the answer to that one question would unravel everything. In Maya's life, the story she thought she knew was about to be rewritten from the ground up. Lena never forgot the sound of that phone call, the breathless panic, the thudding chaos behind her sister's voice, the way Kara whispered instead of spoke, as if someone dangerous might be listening. It was late. Rain hammered against Lena's window like frantic fingers begging to be let in. She almost ignored the call because Kara only rang when things were bad, but something in her tone sliced through the night. "Lena, take her. Please, take the baby before he finds out." Those words didn't sound like a request. They sounded like a countdown. Lena grabbed her keys without asking questions. She drove through sheets of rain, her headlights carving shaky lines through the dark, as if even the night wanted to hide what she was about to see. When she arrived at Kara's apartment, the hallway lights flickered. The door was cracked open. A cold dread crawled up Lena's spine. Inside, the place was a mess. Overturned chairs, a shattered picture frame, clothes scattered across the floor. The air smelled like sweat, fear, and spilt cheap cologne that didn't belong to Kara. And there, huddled near the couch, was her sister. Kara's lip was split, her eye bruised. She held her toddler, Maya, close to her chest like a shield. "Kara, what happened?" Lena whispered, dropping to her knees beside her. Kara shook her head violently. "No time," she choked out. "He's coming back. You have to go. Now." That word, he tightened something inside Lena's stomach. She didn't know who Kara meant. She didn't know what he wanted. But she could feel Kara's terror like electricity through the air, and it made the decision for her. In one motion, she scooped up Maya. The little girl clung to her shirt, too young to understand, but sensing every ounce of fear in the room. "Kara, come with me," Lena urged, grabbing her sister's arm. "Get in the car. We'll leave together." Kara ripped her hand away as if the touch burned. "I can't. If he sees me gone, he'll track us. But if he thinks it's just you," she swallowed, voice breaking, "he'll never look for you. Please, Lena. Please save her." It didn't make sense. None of it did. But sometimes fear speaks louder than logic. And Lena's love for her niece drowned out every argument forming in her head. She wrapped Maya tighter in her jacket, shielding her from the storm that raged both inside and outside. As she reached the door, Kara grabbed her hand, a desperate, shaking grip. "Whatever you do," Kara sobbed, "don't let him near her." Those were the last words Lena heard before she ran into the rain. She buckled baby Maya into the back seat, hands trembling too violently to secure the latch on the first try. The storm blurred the world outside the windshield into a smear of chaos. Lena drove until her knuckles hurt, until her heart threatened to crack open, until the highway stretched empty. She didn't stop for over 3 hours, not until Maya finally fell asleep from exhaustion. It was only then that Lena realized she had no plan, no legal protection, no idea what Kara was running from: a dangerous man, an unstable partner, or her own spiraling life. But she had one burning instinct: keep Maya safe. Her phone buzzed. A text message from Kara. Just one line: "Please don't ever let him find out she's alive." The words chilled Lena in a way no storm could. Who was he? What did Kara think he was capable of? And why did saving Maya suddenly feel like stepping into a story far more complicated than Lena understood? Lena held Maya's tiny hand as the child slept, repeating one thought over and over: if danger is coming, it is not touching her. Even if it meant crossing a line she could never uncross. 10 years passed before the truth even tried to surface. 10 years of Lena waking up every morning reminding herself she had done the right thing. 10 years of Maya growing up believing Lena was her only real stability. 10 years of silence from Kara. No calls, no visits, no updates. It was as if the stormy night had swallowed her whole. And Lena told herself that was proof she'd made the right choice. But then, unexpectedly, on an ordinary afternoon filled with errands and laundry and a half-burnt grilled cheese, Lena opened the mailbox and froze. A weathered envelope lay inside. Stamped, faded, slightly torn, addressed in handwriting she hadn't seen since the night her life changed. Karahot. For a moment, she couldn't breathe. The return address was smudged beyond recognition. The postmark was old, almost a decade old. Somehow, this letter had been lost in the system for years, and now it was here. Her hands trembled as she opened it. The paper inside was soft, the ink slightly blurred, but the words were unmistakably Kara's, frantic, emotional, and painfully honest. "Lena, I'm not asking you to keep her forever. Just a few days until I figure out my life again." Lena's breath caught. "I'm going into a rehabilitation center. I need help. I need time. I need you to protect her while I get better. Not weeks. Not years. Not forever. Days." Lena sank into a chair, the room spinning. All the assumptions she clung to for years, that Kara wanted her gone, that Maya was safer without her mother, cracked right down the middle. Her eyes moved to the last paragraph, written shakier than the rest. "Please don't take her too far. I want to see her again when I'm stable. Tell her I love her. Tell her I'm trying. A sob escaped Lena so suddenly it surprised her. Because she hadn't told Maya anything. She hadn't given Kara the chance to get stable. She had left the state, changed her number, built a new life, all because of a single night of panic and a text message drenched in fear. But then something else fell out of the envelope. A photo. And Lena's heart nearly stopped. It was a picture of a man in his 20s, kind eyes, shy smile, holding a toddler on his hip. The toddler was Maya. Same cheeks, same eyes, same tiny curl above her ear. On the back, Kara had written one sentence. He's her father. He wants to be in her life. Lena stared at the photo in disbelief. This wasn't the man Kara had warned her about. This wasn't the he Lena had been told to hide from. This man looked heartbroken, not dangerous, hopeful, not violent, present, not lost. The truth hit her like a punch to the chest. The danger Kara had been running from wasn't Maya's father. It was her own spiraling life. Addiction, chaos, shame. She hadn't been protecting Maya from a man. She had been protecting Maya's father from losing his child to Kara's instability. Lena clutched the photo like it was a burning coal. Oh my God, what have I done? Every memory of Maya's childhood flashed through her mind. First words, first lost tooth, first day of school. Moments Lena had cherished while another parent was out there wondering if his daughter was even alive. Lena felt the room closing in on her, suffocating her with guilt. Had she saved Maya or stolen her? Had she protected a child or rewritten her entire identity without permission? Before she could gather her thoughts, a knock echoed through the house. A gentle knock, hesitant, patient. Lena wiped her eyes and opened the door. A mail carrier stood there. "Ma'am, I think this belongs with the letter," he said, handing her a second envelope. It was stuck behind the sorting machine. "Years old. Sorry for the delay." Lena stared at it. Another letter. Another truth waiting to break her world wide open. And for the first time in 20 years, Lena wondered, what if everything she believed she was protecting Maya from didn't exist at all? Lena didn't sleep the night she found those letters. She sat at the kitchen table until sunrise, the photo of the man who might be Maya's father resting beside the two envelopes like evidence she wished she could unsee. Every thought she had clung to for 20 years, every justification, every comforting lie she told herself about protecting Maya, unraveled thread by thread. By morning, Lena realized something terrifying. She couldn't hide behind fear anymore. The truth was here, and the truth had a name. So when Maya came downstairs, rubbing sleep from her eyes, Lena knew she couldn't postpone the conversation any longer. She handed her the photo, not with confidence, but with trembling hands that revealed everything she was afraid of. Maya stared at the picture, confusion knitting her eyebrows together. "Who is this?" she asked. Lena swallowed hard. "Your father," she whispered. Silence followed. "Que? Stunned. Impossible silence." Maya didn't blink, didn't speak, didn't breathe. Only her fingers moved slowly across the photo, tracing the curve of his smile. Then she looked up, eyes fierce, voice shaking. "You told me you didn't know who he was." Lena broke. "I thought I was protecting you." Maya stood up so fast her chair scraped the floor. "Protecting me from what, Mom? A man who looks like he loved me? Who looks like he wanted me?" Lena felt her heart splinter. "Your mother, Kara," she said. "That he was dangerous?" Maya cut in. "That he was violent? That I wasn't safe around him?" Lena nodded slowly. Maya held up the picture. "Does this look like a dangerous man?" Lena had no answer. The weight of her silence hung in the air like a sentence handed down without trial. That afternoon, still reeling, Maya made a choice that frightened Lena more than anything. She ordered a DNA test kit. "I need to know," she said firmly. "Not from you. Not from Kara. Not from fear." For days, the house felt like it was filled with ghosts. Lena hovered helplessly, wanting to comfort her daughter, but knowing she was the reason comfort wasn't possible. Maya stopped asking questions, not because she was calm, but because she was learning the truth on her own terms. When the DNA results finally arrived, Maya didn't open them alone. She opened them on Dr. Phil's stage. The audience sat in breathless quiet as Maya held the envelope in one hand and the photo in the other. Dr. Phil leaned forward, voice low. Maya, are you ready to know the truth? Maya glanced at Lena, a mixture of longing and betrayal in her eyes, and nodded. The results were printed in black and white. No confusion, no debate. It was a 99.98% match. The man in the photo was her father. He wasn't a threat. He wasn't violent. He wasn't someone of fear. He was a devastated father who had filed missing child reports for years. Years in which he thought Maya had been taken by strangers. Years in which he lived between hope and grief, searching for a daughter he never stopped loving. Lena's face crumbled as Dr. Phil looked directly at her. Lena, this DNA test doesn't just reveal biology. It reveals something far deeper. Were you protecting Maya, or were you protecting yourself from losing her? Because those are two very different truths. Lena tried to speak, but her voice cracked. I was afraid. I didn't know if Kara was lying. I didn't know if he would take Maya from me. I didn't know how to live without her. Dr. Phil's expression softened just slightly. Fear doesn't make you a villain, but it doesn't erase the consequences. The studio lights dimmed as a producer entered quietly from the side and whispered into Dr. Phil's ear. His eyebrows lifted. Then he turned back to the stage. Maya, Lena, there's someone here today you both need to see. The audience gasped. Lena's breathing stopped. Maya's hand tightened around the photo. Dr. Phil nodded toward the backstage door. Your biological father just arrived. The room froze. And for the first time in 20 years, the truth wasn't on paper. It was standing only a few feet away. The room felt painfully still, like the air itself knew something irreversible was about to happen. Maya sat frozen in her chair, DNA results shaking slightly in her hand. Lena's breath came in short, panicked bursts, the kind you feel when the past you've been outrunning finally corners you. And Dr. Phil, with that heavy silence he uses only in the most serious moments, nodded toward the side of the stage. A staff member pulled the backstage door open, and the man from the photo stepped through. Maya gasped without meaning to, because seeing a picture is one thing, but seeing flesh and blood reality walk toward you, carrying 20 years of love and loss in his eyes, is something else entirely. He didn't storm out. He didn't shout. He didn't accuse. He simply stood there, looking at her like someone seeing sunlight after living in the dark too long. Lena covered her mouth, fighting sobs she could no longer swallow. This was the moment she'd feared since the night she drove Maya away. Not because he was dangerous, but because she knew, deep down, that he never had been. The man took a slow step forward. Maya, he whispered, voice trembling in a way that carried decades. I've been looking for you since the day you disappeared. The word disappeared hit the audience like a punch. Maya's eyes widened. For her entire life, she believed she had been hidden from danger. But this man was not a monster. He was a father grieving a child who vanished without explanation. He continued, wiping at his face. I filed reports. I searched every hospital. I went to every police station that would listen. Your mother, Kara, she told me she needed help, but she never said she was giving up on you. And then one day, his voice broke. You were gone. Maya stared at him, overwhelmed. She didn't lean back. She didn't run. She didn't even blink. She just looked, searching his face for something familiar, something true. And she found it. The same shape of her eyes. The same tilt of her chin. A piece of herself she had never seen reflected before. Lena couldn't stay silent anymore. Her voice cracked as she said, I thought I was protecting her. I swear I thought. Her words dissolved under the weight of the moment. Maya slowly stood, every movement shaky. She didn't go to her mother. She walked toward the man, her biological father, until they stood only a few feet apart. She studied him as if deciding whether this was real, whether this was safe. Did you love her? She asked quietly. His answer came instantly. No hosetaschen. No boble. More than anything I've ever loved. His voice strained. I never stopped. Not for 1 second. Maya's breath hitched. Because sometimes the truth doesn't arrive softly. It arrives like a mirror, reflecting everything you thought you knew and everything you never dared to question. Lena collapsed in her seat, hands shaking uncontrollably. The realization slamming through her was unbearable. She hadn't just taken Maya from danger. She'd taken her from a man who would have fought the world for her. Dr. Phil leaned slightly forward, breaking the tension, but not the moment. Maya, he said gently, you don't have to make any decisions today. You don't have to choose sides. You don't have to forgive or reject or understand everything right now. You just have to breathe, one moment at a time. But the choices circling Maya's mind were heavy. Would she forgive the woman who raised her? Or embrace the father she never knew she had? Could she trust either of them again? Could she trust herself? Her father extended a slow, cautious hand, not to force a reunion, but to offer a beginning. I'd like to know you, he whispered. Only if you want. Maya didn't take his hand yet. She stepped back instead, overwhelmed, needing air, needing space from both of them. Can I talk to you alone? She finally asked. Her father nodded with tears in his eyes. She looked at Dr. Phil for permission. He gestured toward a private hallway behind the stage. And then Maya did something that made Lena's heart drop into her stomach. She walked away with him and quietly closed the door between them. Lena's breath shattered, because that wasn't just a door closing. It was 20 years of truth crashing down all at once. The hallway behind the stage was quiet, too quiet. Maya stood there with her biological father, the DNA results folded tightly in her hand. She didn't know what to say. She didn't know what to feel. For 20 years, her entire world was Lena, her foundation, her safety, her mother. And now, standing inches from her, was the man who had been searching for her since she was barely out of diapers, the man she had been taught, indirectly, to fear. He didn't rush toward her. He didn't ask for a hug. He just stood there, hands at his sides, eyes full of something she had never seen directed at her before. Aching recognition. I don't want to overwhelm you, he said quietly. I'm just grateful you're alive. Maya swallowed hard. Why didn't you look harder? The question shot out before she could stop it. A question rooted not in accusation, but in heartbreak. Her father's eyes softened. I did. Every single day. I begged police. I hired private investigators. I went back to Kara's apartment over and over, hoping she'd changed her mind. His voice broke. I even carried your baby's shoe on my dashboard for years. I kept it with me, so I wouldn't forget what I was fighting for. That detail hit her like a punch. Because people don't carry reminders of children they don't love. And dangerous men don't spend years filing missing child reports. Maya felt her throat tighten. So, you never gave up? He shook his head slowly. Never. The truth didn't erase the pain. It didn't fix the years. But it cracked something open, a small door Maya had never allowed herself to imagine. She looked down at the photo Kara had sent. Her father holding her as a toddler. Her face pressed against his cheek. The kind of picture that doesn't happen by accident. Why did Mom tell me? She whispered. He hesitated, searching for the right words. Your mom loved you, but she was struggling, really struggling. She didn't trust herself, and she didn't want me to see her fall apart. She was terrified you'd end up choosing me over her. He exhaled. She wasn't protecting you from me. She was protecting herself from losing you. Maya closed her eyes. Because suddenly, none of this was simple. None of this was clean. It wasn't good versus evil. It wasn't villain versus angel. It was just broken people making desperate choices. Can I tell you something? Her father said softly. Maya nodded. You look like her. But your strength, that's your own. Tears filled her eyes. She didn't know if she was ready to let him in. But she knew she wasn't ready to lose him either. After a few long, shaky breaths, Maya whispered, I want to know you. But I also need time. He nodded, accepting it without a trace of disappointment. I'll take whatever you'll give me. A moment passed. A deep, quiet moment where both of them finally let themselves imagine a future instead of a past. Then Maya turned and walked back toward the stage, her heart heavier, but strangely more steady than before. When she stepped into the lights, the entire studio looked at her, waiting. Lena stood up instantly. Her face a mixture of fear, regret, and desperate hope. She looked smaller than Maya had ever seen her, not the fierce protector she once believed her to be, but a woman who had carried a secret too heavy for too long. Maya approached slowly. Lena reached for her, But Maya held up a hand, not to reject her, but to slow everything down. "I'll always be grateful that you raised me," Maya said, voice trembling. "You were my mom when no one else was. You loved me. You protected me. But I can't pretend this didn't happen." Her voice cracked. "I can't pretend the truth doesn't matter." Lena broke into tears instantly. "I know," she whispered. "I'm so sorry, Maya. I was scared. I thought I'd lose you forever." Maya softened, not with forgiveness, but with understanding. "You won't lose me," she said gently. "But I need space to figure out who I am and where I came from. I need time with him, and I need you to let me do that without guilt." Lena nodded through her sobs. "I'll do anything you need. Anything." For the first time since the chaos began, Maya stepped forward and hugged her. Not the long, tight embrace of certainty, but the fragile, trembling embrace of two people trying to rebuild something cracked deeply but not destroyed. A new shape of family was forming. Not perfect, not easy, but real. Months later, Maya met her father's side of the family. She learned stories about her childhood she never knew existed. She began therapy with Lena, both individually and together, to navigate the painful overlaps of love and deception. Kara checked into treatment again, and when she was ready, Maya visited her too. And slowly, painfully, beautifully, the pieces began to settle. Not into the picture Lena had once forced into place, but into something truer, something honest. Because sometimes redemption isn't about undoing the past. It's about choosing who you want to become after the truth comes out. Family secrets shape us in ways we never expect, but the truth can set us free in ways we never imagined. If this story moved you, share your thoughts below. Your voice might help someone else find the courage to face their own truth, forgiveness, or a second chance.